Chapter 12, Front Page News. I've been told repeatedly that the Sparrows are not dangerous and do not oppose the government, yet here sit 6 men who entered a military base and attempted to overtake our operations. For you who are ardent supporters of the Sparrow Press, I want you to see what happens to rebels. He took out a large scalpel and then, looking at the camera and rethinking his choice in light of the display he was putting on, he set it down and pulled out his personal hunting knife with its gleaming 6-inch blade and inspected it. He then walked over to number 1, glanced at Jude to make sure he was looking, and held it to his throat. "Jude didn't bring us here," number 1 said defiantly. "We're veterans who are standing for truth and democracy, the values we swore to uphold when we joined. Threats, torture, and deception are what we fought against, and now here you are, inside our own ranks. You're not doing any of this for the NADF. You're doing it for yourself." Alvarado was slightly taken aback, but not fazed. "I do it for my president and my country. We will never go back to the chaos of the transition." He put the blade back up to number 1's neck, but his hand was shaking. He looked perplexed, and when he tried to steady it, he lost his balance, dropped the knife, and stumbled. Before he could say any more, he let out an inaudible slur and collapsed onto the ground. The Coats team leader attempted to call out, "General!" but collapsed himself before he could even finish the word. Within 10 seconds, the entire Coats team and the assistant fell to the floor, some trying to murmur a final word and others unable to even get that far. "Hello, chaps," number 7 greeted the room as 8 and 9 revealed themselves. "We got a present from Max, but we're going to need your help." Jude smiled for the first time since his ordeal and said hoarsely, "Stingers!" Here are some insights. For context, if you haven't read it, the scene is set where Jude is being tortured by General Alvarado with a knife, and it's getting kind of gruesome, and he's certainly not going to stop until Jude is dead. But the rescue team shows up with the help of Chiella and Zara and the resources from Max and a group of 9 former soldiers who volunteered for this mission. And to keep them anonymous and to protect their identity, they just call themselves the 9, and each one has a number. Well, they come with the stingers that Max gave them, one advantage being that they are silent. And so they sneak in and they kind of take down General Alvarado and his Coats team that are there, one by one without them even knowing it. Now, again, it's just the 9. They can't really overtake the entire base, but they're using stealth to their advantage. One thing to think about is it hypocritical for the 9 to fight for the Sparrows, to rescue them? Because the Sparrows are committed to nonviolence, but the 9, not necessarily. They're former military. They have special ops experience, and they're coming in on a rescue mission. Is that hypocritical? That the Sparrows say, "Hey, we're not violent," but they'll take help from military people? I don't know. You have to kind of think about that. But it is clear that the 9 definitely agree with Sparrow's values, and they want to protect Sparrow's values. And they're there to rescue the Sparrows because they believe in what they're doing. General Alvarado filmed the torture just for the Sparrows before he was taken down. It was part of his propaganda. He wanted to try and intimidate the Sparrows, say, "Look, this is what I'm going to do to you if you keep going." But is that going to be effective, or is that going to backfire? I mean, can Zara use that footage to prove a point? So we'll see. And a really important thing, and this is something that's really kind of an issue in the news today, especially with politics the way they are today. Can you control the narrative? I mean, how do you fight against constant false propaganda? Just because you say something over and over and over and you have a big platform doesn't make it true. But it can be effective, and it can be convincing to people who think because of who you are and because of how often you say it, it must be true. How do you fight that? How do you fight for truth when it's clear as day, but you've got people who are committed to their own story because they want to control the story no matter what is true? How do you fight that? That's something to think about. Is it just by volume? Do you just have to say the truth more often? Or is there something about truth and somebody who's genuine that is more powerful? Is there something about the truth that maybe it will always come out? And certainly, is it worth fighting for? I would think so. So Anyway, suffice it to say, I don't want to ruin too much, but Jude doesn't die at the hands of Alvarado right here, right now. They are rescued, and let's hang on for chapter 13 because we're going to see where this goes. This definitely changes the calculus. Okay, we've gotten to the point where it's not just like they're coming, it's to the point where they have been attacked, and there's specific and lethal threats against the Sparrows. So now the game has changed. So let's see what the Sparrows do next, and chapter 13.